Then next one concept is discovery of electron or cathode rays. You see the discovery of electron or cathode rays. So before going to that one point, then see some important point here. So in 1815 year, Michael Faraday scientist. Who is that? Michael Faraday. Michael Faraday scientist, he was began to study the electrical discharge experiments in the partially evacuated tube. In 1815 year, Michael Faraday was began to study the electrical discharge experiment in the partially evacuated tube. The type of the partially evacuated tube, partially evacuated tube is nothing but cathode ray tube. Cathode ray tube or cathode ray discharge tube. This type of the partial evacuated tube is nothing but cathode ray tube or cathode ray discharge tube. This cathode ray discharge tube is first discovered by the William Crookes. William Crookes. Understood what I said? 1815 year, Michael Faraday was begun to study the electrical discharge experiment in the partially evacuated tube. This type of partially evacuated tube is nothing but cathode ray tube or cathode ray discharge tube. These cathode ray discharge tube first discovered by the William Crookes. That means William Crookes was discovered the cathode ray tube. By using this tube, Faraday was begun to study the electrical discharge experiments. Okay, so that is the main concept. After that, not only Faraday using this cathode ray discharge tube, by using the same cathode ray discharge tube, J.J. Thomson was discovered the cathode rays or electrons. So by using the same cathode ray tube or cathode ray discharge tube, J.J. Thomson was discovered the cathode rays or electrons. Then next one is, what is cathode ray discharge tube experiment? Then next one is this cathode ray discharge tube first discovered by the William Crookes. So what is the cathode ray discharge tube experiment? By using this cathode ray discharge tube experiment, J.J. Thomson was discovered the cathode rays or electrons. First of all, you have to know about the discharge tube experiment. This discharge tube is made up of glass. It is a glass tube. Okay, and it contains the two metal plates at their both ends. The discharge tube contains the two metal plates at their both ends. Here one of the metal plate is there. Here another one metal plate is there. J.J. Thomson was arranged the two metal plates at their both ends. So these metal plates are called electrodes. One of the electrode is act as cathode, negative charge. Another electrode is act as anode, positive charge. After that, this is the vacuum pump. After that, these cathode and anode is attached to the high voltage battery circuit. So this is high voltage battery circuit. Okay. So this is about the cathode ray discharge tube. So what is cathode discharge tube? It is made up of glass. It contains two metal plates at their both ends. So these metal plates are nothing but electrodes. One of the metal plate is cathode, another metal plate is anode. After that, this cathode and anode is attached to the high voltage battery circuit. This is high voltage battery circuit. After that, in this discharge tube, you was taken the air. The pressure of the inside the pressure of the air is 0.01 mm of mercury pressure of air is taken in this discharge tube. After complete this arrangement, Thomson was applied the high voltage electricity across the electrodes. He was sent the high voltage electricity across the electrodes. Then what is he was sent high voltage electricity? 10,000 volts of high voltage electricity. He was applied the high voltage electricity across this cathode and anode, taken in the discharge tube of containing the gas of the pressure 0.01 mm of mercury. After he was sending the high voltage electricity across the cathode and anode, then he was observing the some of the invisible particles are traveled from cathode to anode. Some of the invisible particles are traveled from cathode to anode. That is, he was observed. But invisible particles, that means we can't see that particles. How he was observed that invisible particles? Further, the particle behavior was observed by he was made the holes in the anode. So this type of the holes are arranged in this anode. So after complete this type of the arrangement, again behind the anode he was arranged the zinc sulfide screen. This is zinc sulfide screen. Zinc sulfide is a fluorescent material. What is fluorescent material? When we are going in night time journey, beside the road margin, they are arranging the one radium like sticker. The light is fall on that radium sticker, it will glow. This type of the material is zinc sulfide screen. So generally these particles are invisible. We can't see that particles. When he was make the holes in the anode and arrange the zinc sulfide screen behind the anode, again he was applied the high voltage electricity across the cathode and anode. Then the invisible particles are traveled from cathode to anode. After that, these rays are passed through these holes. Whenever the cathode rays pass through the holes, these rays are strikes on the zinc sulfide screen. When the rays are strikes on zinc sulfide screen, in these places the bright color spots are developed. Okay, so why here bright color spots are developed? Here there is no particles, but here bright color spots are developed. What is the meaning? Because of here some of the invisible particles are traveled from cathode to anode when he was applied the high voltage battery across the cathode and anode. The type of invisible particles causes here bright color spots are developed. So this type of invisible particles was called cathode rays. What is that? This type of invisible particles was called cathode rays. Okay, so from this experiment again J. Thomson was concludes the some of the points from this experiment. So that points are called properties of cathode rays. Then see the next one is properties of cathode rays. These properties are obtained from the cathode ray discharge tube experiment. Then first one point is here. Point number 1. What is point number 1? The cathode rays are traveled in the straight line from the cathode to anode. So this is cathode, negative charge. This is anode, positive charge. The cathode rays are traveled from cathode to anode. Traveled from cathode to anode. That is first one point. Then second point, these cathode rays particles are invisible particles. That's why the behavior of these invisible particles are observed by using the zinc sulfide fluorescent screen. Zinc sulfide screen, it is a fluorescent material. Zinc sulfide screen. So these particles are invisible particles. The behavior of cathode rays are observed by using the zinc sulfide screen. That is second point. Then third one point, these cathode rays are traveled in the straight line in the absence of electric field and magnetic field. See here. So perpendicular to this cathode rays, J. Thomson was arranged the electric field. So this is electric field. Here electric field, here charge is positive charge. This is negative pole of electric field. So in the absence of electric field, the rays are traveled in the straight line. Understood what I said? Then what is third one point? In the absence of electric field and magnetic field, the rays are traveled in the straight line. So this is electric field. In case here electric field is absent, then what happens? The rays are traveled in the straight line. That is first one point. So in absence of electric field, magnetic field, the cathode rays are traveled in the straight line. If presence of electric field, what happens? That is fourth one point. Presence of electric field. Fourth one point is, in the presence of electric field, the rays are deflected toward the positive pole of electric field. So here the straight lines are, in the absence of electric field or magnetic field, the rays are traveled in the straight line. But in the presence of electric field, the rays are deflected toward the positive pole of electric field. Positive pole of electric field. That means normally these rays are traveled in straight line. But in the presence of electric field, this is electric field. But in the presence of electric field, these cathode rays are deflected toward the positive pole of electric field. Why the rays are deflected toward positive pole? Because of these rays containing the negative charge. That's why due to the presence of negative charge particles, these negative charge particles are attracted toward the positive pole of electric field. Okay, so from this experiment, the J.J. Thomson was explaining the cathode rays containing the negative charge. Okay, then next one is, in the presence of magnetic field, what happens? So this is electric field. Then next one is, after removal of the electric field, again he was arranged the magnetic field. So this is magnetic field. So this is magnetic field. So after arranging the magnetic field, again these cathode rays are deflected toward the opposite pole of electric field. So in the presence of electric field, these cathode rays are deflected toward the positive pole. But in the presence of magnetic field, this is magnetic field, again the rays are deflected toward the opposite side of electric field. In the presence of electric field, the rays are deflected toward this direction. Okay, but in the presence of magnetic field, the rays are deflected toward upward direction. So this is opposite side of electric field. So that is about this fourth one point. So once again, what is fourth one point means? In the third one point, in the absence of electric field and magnetic field, the rays are traveling in the straight line. Fourth point, in the presence of electric field, these cathode rays are deflected toward the positive pole of electric field. Okay, but in the presence of magnetic field, the rays are deflected toward the opposite side of electric field. So from this experiment, what he was observed, J.J. Thomson was observed the cathode rays contain negative charge. Okay, so that point is observed from this experiment. Then last fifth one is important point, the properties of the cathode rays. Okay, the properties of the cathode rays or behavior of the cathode rays is independent on the nature of gas used in the discharge tube and also electrodes. Independent of the nature of gas used in the discharge tube and also electrodes used in the discharge tube. That is fifth point. What is fifth point? The properties of cathode rays is independent on the nature of gas used in the discharge tube and also nature of electrodes used in the discharge tube. That means if you take any type of gas in the discharge tube, the properties of the cathode rays is not changes. Or if you use any type of the electrode, the properties of cathode rays is not changes. So that is about the fifth point. So from this point, after complete this one point, again these cathode rays name was given by the, from this cathode rays, G.J. Stoney was given the electron name. The name electron was given by the G.J. Stoney scientist. So that is about the properties of cathode rays. Then next one is charge by mass ratio. That is the next one class.